Today I'm just going to do a real quick update on how our 3 papaya trees are doing here. I looked it up and they're under 3 years old from what I can find. There is papayas that, yes, have to come off. The problem is we keep taking them off and we have so many papayas. Gary's given some away. He is freezing some. And I'm going to make a papaya mousse. Look at that. It's starting to get moldy. You don't have to worry about if there's mold like that because it's on the outside. Generally, the inside is fine, but he will be harvesting that one today. I noticed that there was slow growth on some of them. Believe it or not, it was on the top. I'm going to see if you can see through there, but see, now we've got fruit. And what I had found was I compost in place on the ground here. And it had already broken down. It was just, there was really no, I'm going to say food coming from it because papaya trees had already, or the plants had already sucked a lot of it. So I went back through both of these bins. Let me step back so you can see them. There's one there, and then you've got the other one there. I put a lot of rotting leaves, you know, from the garden, old leaves, brown leaves, green leaves, everything. Kitchen scraps, there's even corn husks in there, look at that, and there's eggshells and everything. That was all put into both of these bins, oh, probably less than a week ago. And then I covered this one, as you can see, with some native soil. There's no wood chips on that one. And that's just native soil, clay. And look at that, already earthworms. Can you see the earthworm? By putting the pot on top, it stays damp, and earthworms like to gravitate up and they'll go and sit under a pot. So anyways, let's get back to this. So I put a lot of kitchen scraps, collard leaves, kale leaves from the garden, all kinds of stuff in there. This one, the same thing. Now this one I covered in wood chips. And that I'm going to get ready, and I think I'm going to put a zucchini or some sort of squash or a melon in there. And then that one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to plant something in there, so it's double duty. But what it's doing is it's feeding both of these papayas because I was looking at them and we weren't getting the new fruit. It seemed like it had slowed down. Now, just by doing that, look at this, all the new growth by just doing this, oh, like I said, just under a week ago, it's already feeding the plants and they really needed it. And then the third tree down here, there's really 4, but I'm not counting the little one that came up in the compost. This one, the same thing, there was really no fruit hanging on. See, the flowers had turned yellow and they were not doing well. And the same thing was going on here. See all the new growth coming on? This compost bin, also composting in place, I did the same thing here, kitchen scraps from the garden. And now I covered this one with wood chips, and I don't know if you can see anything in here, but it's, let's see, that's already breaking down. See all the, that's all stuff from the kitchen. See all that? It's already breaking down. This one's been maybe a little over a week. And this is the other thing I'm going to be dumping in it. This has got papaya leaves, the brown leaves. It's got collard and everything. This stuff stinks. Just take some tap water from your garden, throw leaves in here. I've got kale and collard and green, mainly green and yellow leaves in here, but there are some brown ones, as you can see. And it smells. And I'm just going to take that bucket, probably today, dump it in there, move the wood chips over, dump it in there, and then cover it. And that is just going to act like food. I mean, look at the tree that's not even a year old I planted last year. The pomegranate, it's being fed from that too because this is leaching into the ground. So anything around it's going to take off. So that's an update on the papayas. And what I might do also, well, I don't know if I'm going to plant any seeds here because then I've got to move them out. I have had questions on how to grow papayas. It's really very simple to start any papayas really like this. The main thing you have to remember is do not dry the seeds. Don't save the seeds. Don't cut open a papaya with beautiful big black seeds and try to save the seeds. You cannot save the seeds. What you want to do, if I wanted to grow, let's say I wanted to grow some more papaya trees. Eat your fruit, take the seeds right away, and put them in a compost bin. They are heavy feeders, so they really do really well in a compost bin. Spread the seeds on the top and cover it lightly, all the seeds, with, let's say, some potting mix, sifted wood chips, whatever you want to use. And then just keep it watered. You'll end up with hundreds of seeds. I have this happening in all my compost bins, where the papaya seeds were closer to the surface. You don't want to bury them. They've got to be really no more than 1 to 2 inches from the surface. And then you can remove the baby papaya plants and then put them in pots and take care of them that way. Keep in mind, they are heavy feeders. And it doesn't mean you have to go buy food for them. It just means you will have to rot leaves, kitchen scraps, and periodically feed them. Because when you stop feeding them, they do stop producing. They slow down. And that's what I had noticed, that the growth that was coming in had slowed down on the top. And now this thing just bursted in the growth almost overnight by just having these 2 bins filled with kitchen scraps. I'll show you some of the seeds in one of my other bins, and you can see what I'm talking about. Again, take your papaya seeds and get them into something. If you don't have a compost bin and you don't have anything set up outside, just take the seeds straight from the fruit and put them in a tray with some potting soil and keep them damp, and you'll grow a bunch of papaya trees, and then you can pick out the ones you want to save. That's all you need to do. But again, don't dry them. It's like apple seeds. You can't dry apple seeds. You can't dry orange seeds. Certain fruits do not, it just doesn't work. It's not designed that way. So with papaya, just take your papaya. Even if you go to the store and you buy a papaya, it's got to be ripe, so the seeds have to be nice and black. And then plant them, and that's all there is to it. So with that, I think I've done a quick update on our papayas. And I hope I've answered some of your questions. I think that's the main thing that people do, is they try to save the seeds, they dry the seeds, and then they go back and try to grow them, and it doesn't work that way. By nature, they would fall to the ground, the big papayas, and they would be rotting in the ground. They would be growing in part of the papaya. So what I actually do is take the skin or whatever Gary's got, and I throw that in the bins too when I'm planting the seeds. So I guess that's it for today. I'm going back to work. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Be back soon. Like and subscribe. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.